check out our sponsors, Nature's Blends. They specialize in premium Ethiopian black seed products. Their products are fantastic health supplements and also from the Sunnah. The website is in the description link below. You can also use the discount code SALAM10 for 10% off their products.
Pressured into doing something they didn't want to do.
You were wearing the Islamic headscarf, often known as hijab, and of course then it developed into a sort of a sex scene.
Wow. Asalaamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters and dear friends. Welcome to my channel. Hope you guys are well, inshallah. Today we're going to be reacting to an ex-porn actress, inshallah, and apparently she must be someone really popular to be on BBC. So we're going to be talking about, we're not going to mention her name. There might be people who are suffering from pornography who's going to go watch, or those who are not watching, going to be curious, they can't hold themselves and go watch this disgusting, vile thing that's destroying people's souls and lives. And we did another video about the 5 dangers of pornography, which you can go watch. Let's get straight into it, inshallah, and let's hear from her.
Step by step, how did a girl who was brought by her parents to the United States from Lebanon, your home country, schooled in the United States, clearly smart, went to university in Texas, read history, how did you get involved with the sex porn industry?
I don't think low self-esteem discriminates against anyone. It doesn't matter if you come from a great family or if you come from a not so great background. I struggled my entire childhood with weight, and I never felt attractive or worthy of male attention.
Brilliant. Did you guys hear that? She was overweight and she struggled with getting male attention. These are two things that our society puts pressure on females. And women are made to feel more ugly and uglier. And that's why they need to dress a certain way or dress to impress. And this is really sad. Now, she is made to feel like she needs male attention. Because the society, everyone, and sadly our sisters are today suffering from that as well. Our sisters who are taking off their hijab, showing parts of their hijab, you know, getting their hair covered, but everything below is showing. Same with men, you know, have to look a certain way, etc. You know, walking around topless. And she felt the need to have male attention. That was the norm. Yes, you want to get male attention. That's what it's about. And sadly, what this results in is that a lot of people fall into, you know, zina and doing certain acts on their boyfriends or someone that they want to be with or supposedly wanting to marry because the fear of losing him. I have to do this. You know, if I don't, he'll go. And this is a sad reality because it shows that you don't have tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is what she suffered from. And this leads to a bigger problem.
Suddenly, my first year of college, I start losing all this weight from making small changes. And by the time I graduated, I was ready to make a bigger difference. I felt extremely self-conscious about my breasts because that was the first thing to go when I lost all the weight. I lost about 50 pounds. I don't know how many kilos that is, or stones.
Well, it's a considerable amount of weight.
Yeah.
It changed your body, it changed you physically.
Completely.
Yeah.
So my biggest insecurity was my breasts. So I wanted to more or less go back to what they normally were. And once I did that, I started garnering all of this attention from men. And
okay. So now what she does is she starts working on her assets. And yeah, once she works on them and, I don't know, plastic surgery, whatever it may be she's talking about, then the male attention came. Yeah, then men were attracted to you now. But the thing, what a lot of females don't understand is, they are going to be attracted to you, oh, definitely. But why are they attracted to you? What do they want from you? You as a person, your character, what you have to offer more than your body parts? Or your body parts?
I was never used to it, and I felt like unless I held on to it and kind of did what was asked of me or what was expected of me, it would go away. And after feeling what it was like, that validation and, you know, the compliments for the first time, I did not want that to go away.
Now that's an addiction. Now you're getting compliments. You're getting attention. That is making you happy. You don't want that to go away now, like she said. And what did she do to preserve that?
You were spotted, I think, on a street. I mean, there you were a young graduate wanting to sort of find a job, and you were spotted on a street by a guy who said, I can work with you, and clearly he opened up and said, it's the porn business. What was it in you that far from running away, was drawn into it?
It wasn't. That's not how it was. It wasn't just, hey, do you want to come do porn? It was more so, oh, you're beautiful. Like, would you like to do some modeling?
You see, Shaitan doesn't really come to you with, hey, do you want to do pornography? Or, hey, do you want to commit shirk? Yeah? You know, it's a gradual step. And Shaitan will take what he wants from you. You know, if he tries to come to you with shirk, you know, he'll either work his way up to shirk, or he'll start with shirk. If not shirk, innovation. If not innovation, major sins. Can't do major sins? I'll get him to do minor sins. If not minor sins, I'll get him to do the lesser of 2 good deeds. If not, I'll keep him busy with things that are permissible, etc. And this is how Shaitan comes to you. And with her, what did it come with? Did he come and say, pornography? She's going to go, no.
You know, you have a great body. Like, I think you'd be great in nude modeling, things like that. And after I came and toured the studio, you know, it was very respectable. It was a gorgeous location. It was in Miami, in Doral, Florida. It was clean. Everyone who worked there was nice. All of their cubicles were decorated with family photos. Like, it was nothing dodgy or that made
Just so you feel at home.
me uncomfortable. And after, the first time I went in wasn't the first time I filmed a porn movie. It was the second time. The first time was more so, do you want to do this? Like, sign the paperwork, etc., etc.
So these guys, they just...
This is why it's so important, you know, with these kind of things, to have a male guardian. Now, you guys be thinking, oh, are you saying that we women, you know, we can't make our own decisions, etc.? I'm not saying that, because there's a lot of women in the chains of hadith, maybe 120, who narrate hadith, and in a lot of different things in our religion, in all kinds of fields. But certain things, you see, the male is there as your protector, as a man, your husband, or be it your father or your brother, because these are people that care about you. These people don't know what harm. But sadly, the feministic movement has made it seem like we're independent and we can do it, and yes, that's why it's fundamental, brothers and sisters, that even when getting to know somebody, a wali is fundamental. You know, if you don't have that in your life, you can be easily persuaded to a lot of stuff, you know.
As a money machine.
Absolutely.
But you still had no advisors, you had no lawyer, you had no nothing. So
What 21-year-old has a lawyer on retainer?
There you go.
I'm just trying to get my head around how stressful this must have been, and whether even now, because you sit here so poised, and obviously a lot of time has passed and you've moved on, but do you think there is some sort of post-traumatic stress that is in you from this experience?
Yes, and I think it kicks in mostly when I go out in public, because the stares I get, I feel like people can see through my clothes, and it brings me...
Wow. When she's out in public, she feels like people can see through her. Yeah, because she's out there. And now she's going to live the rest of her life, people knowing what she was doing, her marital relationship, marrying somebody, knowing that your wife was doing all these things with God knows how many men, and how they were violating her, be it God knows what. And that could be very disturbing to a man. Very, very disturbing to a man. And she's going to live the rest of her life like that. And she admits that.
And it brings me deep shame. It makes me feel like I lost all right to my privacy, which I did, because I'm one Google search away.
Yeah. And those images you cannot expunge. You have no right, even though it is deeply personal to you, you have no right to remove them from anybody's view around the world.
In a nutshell, if you think about it, she got groomed. She got groomed. She got used and abused, and she's groomed, and she has no rights to them.
Yeah.
It is very hard.
It is.
And I'm just thinking, this story is your story, but frankly, it's also the story of other porn actors and actresses.
I honestly started seeing that recently after the interview came out, and people started reaching out, and all of the emails go, my manager checks them, and when he gets stuff like that, he filters them and sends them to me. And reading the words of some of these girls who have been sex trafficked and forced into porn, and all of these stories of girls whose lives have been ruined by it, and by men who have taken advantage of them, and by contracts that they didn't even understand the jargon of, it makes me feel like, okay, maybe it was good that I started talking and that I posted this interview and that I'm speaking out now, because other people feel the same way. And even if they don't relate on as deep a level as, doing porn, they can relate on the level of being insecure and being pressured into doing something they didn't want to do.
You were wearing the Islamic headscarf, often known as hijab, and of course then it developed into a sort of a sex scene.
Wow.
You must have known how provocative that was.
Wow. They got her to dress up as a hijabi. I guess it's a new fetish.
Verbatim told them, you guys are going to get me killed.
And they said?
They just laughed.
Because they don't give a damn about you. Because they don't care about you. You are nothing but a money-making tool. Sadly.
Why didn't you then say, I'm not doing it?
Intimidation. I was scared.
But
I knew that if I said no...
The certain, feminists, she's like, somebody who's a career woman who goes out there and, gets it and, for God's sake, I don't even know what to say. Wallahi, I do not know what to say, man. What we've made society, what we've made females, degraded them to such a level. Unbelievable. And then calling it, the Western values. Unbelievable. And this thing is okay. It's permissible. It's okay. It's all right. No problem.
It would. They're not. They're not going to force you to do it. At that point, that's rape. No one's going to force you to have sex. But I was still scared. Have you ever felt not scared, but nervous to speak up and say something at a restaurant when your food's not right and the waiter comes by and says, "How is everything?" I was intimidated. I was nervous.
We interview a lot of people, and many of them are middle-aged or older. It's great to have somebody in the studio who's only 26 years old. There is a school of thought which says that our culture as a whole, I'm not just talking about the United States or the UK, but in many, many countries, is being pornified. And that young people in particular are so exposed to pornography, so young in their lives, that it's materially changing the way males and females relate to each other, the way they think about relationships in a potentially very corrosive, damaging way.
Exactly. Women are seen as nothing but, excuse my language, she's just some kind of a whore that I'm just going to use for my sexual desires. Subconsciously, on a subconscious level, a lot of men think like that. A lot of men look at their partners as somebody that's just an animal. You're just an animal that is there for my desires that I'm going to use. I'm going to treat you on as well. Even in intimacy, certain words, phrases, hits, abuse is being used. Why? Because that's what they're watching and that's what they want to do. Because just watching is not enough.
What's your take on that?
Of course it affects relationships. Porn addiction is very prevalent in America, and I'm sure here too. The things that men see in videos, they expect from the women in their lives, and that's just not reality.
Okay.
No one is going to be that perfect. No one is going to do those acts on a Wednesday night with the person they love.
Guys, what else can be said from somebody that's been in this vile, disgusting industry and have seen it for themselves? I don't know what else I can say. Absolutely disgusting, soul violating, life destroying. And people, thousands, are addicted to this. And you can see that how it's destroying your lives. And we've discussed this in another video, 5 dangers of pornography. Guys, you heard it for yourself. I had to blur her face, just in case it could be fitna to brothers watching, etc. And that's all I'm going to say. There's nothing else I can really say. It's so sad. It's so sad. I don't know what to say, man. I hope you guys have listened and heard. Please stay away from this vile, disgusting disease. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help. Take measures, gradual steps and processes, and stay away from it. Because this is going to violate your soul. Pornography is a vile thing, and it will destroy your soul. Till next time, Asalaamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.